isn't your fault, but you are responsible. Okay? This isn't your fault that you don't know how to do that, but you're responsible for what just happened. Does that make sense?
Yeah, my Irish heritage is not my fault. That my teeth are made of potatoes. But I am responsible if I want to keep them.
Yeah.
To remedy the issues that I have with them.
And if you don't know how to talk to your wife, if you don't know how to say you're sorry to your kid, it may not be your fault. You weren't trained, you weren't taught.
Or were trained incorrectly.
Or you weren't, you saw your dad do it, so that's what you do. Mm-hmm. That's what was done to you. I mean, but you're still responsible for what you did and didn't do, what you said and didn't say, how you said what you said. There's a certain juncture in a man's life, and I want to say it's in the 30s, particularly, where the weight of responsibilities becomes more than he can bear on his own. I think we see our divorce rates start piling up there. We see, we've been to the addiction centers. We've been to the recovery places. There's a few younger than,
and a few older, but primarily
they are mostly 30s and young 40s. Maybe they're at that point you mentioned. They're at that pain threshold, and they've caused so much of it because they've experienced so much of it. Now they're causing so much of it that this is their option. I've got to do something. You talk about engagement. And it's a tough game. That's a tough place to survive and stay with for 4 to 6 months to see your systems reset. Super good. So, here we've got all these unwords. These are part of the problem, right? Untrained, uninitiated, unfathered, and unfinished. Yeah, that's a problem when a man who's built to provide and protect, Genesis, provision, protection. When a man is, actually that's part of the intention, and you're untrained, uninitiated, unfathered, and unfinished.
Yeah.
That's not going to go well.
Nope.
So you have to go back to those classes with God and get the kind of training and fathering and initiation that you need on your masculine journey.
With God, there is always more. More love, more life, more freedom. Welcome to Zoe's Exploring More with Michael Thompson. C.S. Lewis once wrote, "Our Heavenly Father has provided many delightful ends for us along our journey, but He takes great care to see that we do not mistake any of them for home." Join me and the team as we explore the kingdom together, discovering the deep truths and offering encouragement for the journey. There is always more.
Welcome, friends and allies, to the Exploring More podcast. Michael Thompson hanging out with SJ Jennings. And we're about to kick off, start a new series. And we've been talking about this for a few days and throwing some things around.
Yeah.
We traveled together for a couple days in Ohio and saw some partners and friends there and started talking about this. And then, this proposal for a series that I will unveil right now came up in the last couple days. And so then we sent out, you sent out, I thought it was brilliant. You sent out on our Facebook page, our Allies Facebook page, Zoe page?
Yeah, Zoe Allies. Yeah.
Zoe Allies, you turned it into a question for input, and we can talk about that. So without further ado, the series that we're going to launch into, and Len and I were talking about before, it's just man stuff, things that guys are facing. and he was asking me how am I doing, and then did the how are you really doing? Kind of well, since you asked.
Yeah.
And
different than I was this morning.
Different.
Things come at you during the day.
Yeah, it's amazing what a couple hours can mean in anybody's life, but particularly in men's lives. And so this is a series we're going to take on a conversation, an exploration about the challenges that men face. And we had a good 5 or 6 pages of just kind of dumping our hearts and thoughts on paper. But then you had the brilliant idea this morning of...
Let's ask the dudes on Facebook.
Yeah. What happened?
It blew up. A bunch of people I got some emails. A bunch of people put their responses on there, and it's pretty interesting to see what guys are dealing with.
So this is probably going to be a 28 session season.
Yeah, it could be 28
season.
parts.
Yeah, into 2028. I don't know, but there's. And what I love about you asking, in light of the challenges men face, was the forum in which. Oh yeah. I got something to. Mm-hmm. I got some thoughts on that.
Mm-hmm.
And they were, I think to the man, they were all personal.
Very.
They weren't global
right.
or universal or,
right.
Things in that lane. These were guys that were talking about the challenges they're facing. And there were some common threads and common denominators, I think.
Yeah,
too.
and it was, like you said, it wasn't like, man, it's hard to get to the gym. Or, I got surly teenagers. Which are kind of more general. Yeah. General. It's like you said, went pretty personal pretty quickly.
Right. And so, I think there's just you and I had a number, but this thing expanded pretty quickly when that went out. We had a number of things to talk about. Some of it was philosophical, but I think some of it, generally. Most of it was us.
And you can add more to the comment section as you're watching.
Yeah.
As we're moving through this series, we'll be checking comments and maybe.
Yeah, where do they go for that?
At them. Well, right, if they're watching on YouTube, they can go right there.
Just comments put it in the comments.
Stuff, yes. Yeah, comment on the YouTube video. But otherwise, you can send us an email, exploringmore@zoe.org. Hit me up on Facebook, Scott Douglas Jennings. I go by my full name on Facebook. Yeah. Michael Thompson. Zoe, we're up there, so you can find us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think before we take a break, I didn't expect, and I don't know why, I have no idea why, to strike such a nerve.
Yeah.
And as we've said many times, if you strike a nerve, it must mean there's a nerve there that could be struck.
That can be struck.
And so I think that's why this will be an interesting Exploring More podcast series. And we'll see where God takes us and where we go on the subject of the challenges that men face. So we'll be right back after this quick break. Hey everyone, we are on the set of the Good Man series, this collection of videos that we are producing to encourage and equip men to become who they are in the kingdom. And so, this is something we've been dreaming about for a while. It's our hope that this 8-part series is both helpful, but also transforming, because my friends and I, we didn't know until we knew. And to be able to explore orientation and the idea that we are in a larger story, that we are important in that story, our story matters, and that God is up to good in our lives. That orientation is the kind of thing that every man needs in order to navigate this Middle Earth, this fallen place, and live victoriously, overcoming evil, right, as good men, walking with God, and hopefully walking with God together in intimacy, oneness, and connectedness with God and with brothers. So to have an oriented fellowship of men, to have brotherhood who are all in training and being equipped, encouraged to walk with God intimately for those that God has entrusted to them, their marriages, their children, their grandchildren, and to see generational masculinity redeemed, because we are all being grown up, trained up, healed up in ways that are going to make a difference for a long time. I hope you enjoy this series. Welcome back to the Exploring More podcast. I was thinking about how to lay this out, how to move. And SJ, I think even from some of the Facebook and comments and my own story, I just want to talk a little bit about when we think about the challenges men face. I want to break them up into some categories.
Okay.
Because I think there's some different components to it. Like we had some comments about alcoholism,
pornography,
or other addiction, type things. And it's not that those aren't a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're symptoms,
right,
of some challenges.
Right.
And so, we can just kind of feel our way through the idea of there's a difference between causes, that make life challenging,
mm-hmm.
and symptoms that make life challenging. And some of the symptoms I feel like you kind of have a choice in that matter. And then as soon as I say, I'm like, well, I'm not sure you had much of a choice in that matter.
Sure.
With all that we know about working with men, counseling marriages, parenting, fatherhood, our own journeys. So I think I just want to start with a bit of, what makes it, what's a challenge? What's challenging? And is it because that's the place that you find yourself? I mean, I go back to your story from time to time, at the bottom of a pit.
Yeah.
That you've dug yourself.
Right.
That's how you came to Christ, for
mm-hmm.
goodness sakes.
Yeah.
If you find yourself at the bottom of a pit that you've dug with your own two hands, so that's a challenging situation to be in.
Mm-hmm.
It's a challenging scenario.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you think, though?
But I think the overarching challenge that most men face is that they are, and I'm speaking from a position where I've been in that place and still am from time to time, where I can't see the root cause of whatever my challenge is. I only see the symptom.
Yeah, symptoms.
Okay, so I go after treatment of the symptom without the further exploration of the cause of the symptom.
Yeah.
So, several guys said I've struggled with porn my whole life, or alcoholism, like you said, different ways that we try to medicate a deeper root problem.
Yeah.
So you look at it like the challenge is your pornography addiction.
Getting sober.
And it's not that pornography or alcoholism or whatever other thing you're addicted to, shopping, whatever it is, it's not that that's not a problem, but that is, or a challenge to overcome. Right. It is. But if you stop there, it's probably going to recur because you're not getting to the root cause of what is leading you to engage in some kind of self-medicative behavior.
Yeah. Man, so many scenarios. I go back to just these last days and your tooth.
Yeah, so my voice sounds a little bit different because it's a little raspier for some reason, because the medication that I had to do for that has done something to my voice. So apologies for that, but that's what that is. I had to have this. I've had a crown put on this root. I had to have a root canal done to this thing. I mean,
but it was. I think we've said this before. It was misdiagnosed a few months ago.
Yeah,
they took X-rays,
just a few weeks.
couldn't find anything. Said, well, we think what you did is you bruised
the tooth.
Your tooth. Bit on something.
And I was like,
but you were having some pretty good pain.
I was.
So you leave. I mean, all this is applicable to what you just said. It isn't going away. It's not getting better. You go back. Oh.
Yeah, you got an abscess.
You have an infection.
Yeah.
So the pain, right? The pain was a symptom that was telling you something's not wrong. And
the solution isn't taking 8 ibuprofens a day.
It was to get through some of those days.
To survive until you can get the treatment.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And so,
that's not the long-term solution.
You can go to a drink, you can go to a screen. I mean, there's things that men do when they don't feel well.
Yeah.
Or when they aren't well.
Something's not right.
Yeah. And women too, but we're going to focusing
on men.
On this one, on the challenges that men face.
We're not going to attempt the challenge of telling women what their challenges are.
No.
That'd be bad.
So.
Moving on.
Moving on. Yeah. I mean, I just want to hit one more. I have had a good 3 or 4 weeks of just back pain and kind of hip and down and I've had some back pain before, but it's been a long time. And I'm still pretty active and do a lot of things to try to work out and battle the pounds, that kind of thing. And so, but man, this one has been goofy. I mean, it's not gotten better. I haven't gotten some treatment, but that's where I'm at. I'm tired of this. What is causing this pain? And I highly recommend, we're not going to get into it a whole lot right now, highly recommend C.S. Lewis's The Problem with Pain.
Yeah, it's a great one.
And in essence, it's basically pain is an invitation to intimacy with God. Pain is an invitation to bring whatever sadness, sorrow, and hurt that is this pain to God. And Lewis is writing that and speaking about that from a place of grief, having lost his love, his joy.
Which is also
Joy.
A great little booklet he writes about grief, too, by the way.
Yeah, a joy observed, a joy...
Grief observed.
Grief observed, yeah. About so...
Yeah.
So we'll get into some more of that in a minute. I think those are going to be some later episodes, honestly. But I just want to establish there's a difference between the pain and what's causing the pain. And so how that applies to this series would be, well, is it the challenge or is it the results?
Is it the symptom?
Is it the challenge that you face because you couldn't deal or weren't equipped or able to move through this other challenge?
Yeah, and I think what we're proposing, I think of a few years ago in our story together as friends. This is probably 5 years ago now. I was pretty upset about feeling missed by our Wednesday group when I was talking about a challenge I was facing, and I called you, or you called me, one or the other.
I think I called you and said,
"You okay, buddy?"
Yeah, I said that.
Not right.
It wasn't good. It was pretty an obvious kind of moment. Maybe I was that in tune.
But the point of it was, we talked about it, and I said to you, I don't want to live like this anymore, or I can't live like this anymore. So reaching the challenge for men is, how do you reach that point where you're not willing to live with the pain anymore? And I think every man has to go on that journey. But what we're proposing is there's a way to move through life and in this message with Jesus that involves not living with the pain, facing whatever it is, moving towards it as an opportunity for intimacy, like you said. Because that moment that happened in the Wednesday group didn't start there. The way that I felt, the way that I heard what I heard, and the way I interpreted
I was
it,
gonna
the
say
lens I looked at it
that's
through.
right. That's the piece.
That did not start that afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
That started when I was 7.
Yeah.
In many ways, so to finally reach a point, I'm at the bottom of this pit and I'm kind of tired of being in it. So we get men like that all the time coming to us that want to talk to us one-on-one. They come to our weekends.
Right.
They're looking for relief. We have this list of uns.
Yeah. I want to
on
get
here.
to it in a
We'll
minute.
get to that in a minute. But men are tired of, I think, not being able to find relief for the pain that they're experiencing. And we've used physical metaphors, but most of us walk around with this unresolved pain.
There's a lot of things that men carry. So you talked about being 7 and carrying that to a porch, just a few years ago.
Yeah.
And add to the man on the porch, there's just a lot that men are trying to carry.
Mm-hmm.
Bills and finances, and what is that? More month than money.
Yeah.
Very real.
Mm-hmm.
Challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Providing.
Right.
I think another one that is thick is just family, and again, trying to talk about this, SJ, across many different masculine hearts in different places. So what I'm going to say is, I'm talking with a couple guys, usually more one-on-one, for a certain season, and well over half, I would say in general, over half of them, you don't see that you're the one.
You're the common denominator in
all of this.
Yeah. It's kind of like,
I think
Doc, I don't know what the problem is, and your arms hanging off, like, bro, it's that.
Yeah. Nate Bargatze has a thing like this thing he does with his arm, and his shoulders really hurt, and somebody said, "Well, why do you put it behind your in your back pocket while you're on stage?" Like, I do that.
What are you talking about?
Maybe that is why my arm hurts.
Yeah, stop doing that.
It's my doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's something I'm somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that where what I want to say to that guy is, well, how about we take a time out and you let me talk to these other 4 or 5 people, because I'm getting your opinion. It'd be really interesting to see what they have to say about how they experience you, and so you might be the challenge, in all of these places.
Yeah.
So, and then the other half, back to you on the porch, the other half might very well be people just aren't good at handling other people's hearts.
Yeah.
And I would give that more than half, than a 50% margin.
If you're going experientially,
89, 95%.
Mm-hmm.
Because
even amongst those of us who have been
trained
you, man, to do it, we miss the boat
level
sometimes.
The level of disoriented men and women, of course, children, they're children, but gosh, that's enough to create a crap ton of challenges, and trying to love rather than control.
Yep.
Control is way easier. Way more casualties, but it's way easier.
I just was listening to a podcast this morning about the benefits of being a benevolent dictator. How much easier life is as the ruler of your home if you're just
we've talked about that a few times, and
I know it.
And nobody hears the benevolent part. Everybody hears the dictator part.
I mean, because there's a truth to you're taking away a lot of free will, but things
kindly,
a lot smoother for the leader.
Kindly, we're going to do it this way, So that's a challenge to be more, it is loving and kind. We'll get to Galatians 5 in a few minutes too, but I believe the reason this strikes such a nerve has to do it's with all of these things, symptoms, causes, remedies. I brought up, mentioned to you, and if you're not careful as a man, you will start treating the symptoms. That's what we were talking about with the Advil, with the alcohol, with the spending, with the gambling. I mean, gambling's a crazy thing now.
Oh man, it's so accessible now.
Well, how did you not think that those numbers were going to skyrocket?
Of course.
And it's gotta not only helped but advance the credit card world at 0% for this and 0% for that, and
until it's 24%.
Until your percent. Yeah. So I think one of the real dangers is in this thought of, if you have certain symptoms, then you medicate them. It's almost guaranteed you're going to get additional symptoms. So if you that just happens with medicine in general. If you take enough Advil for the pain, your liver starts to get jacked.
Yep.
There's some warnings on these labels.
Yeah.
So like we were talking about our friend, our doctor friend, who, I'm taking medication for this, and it's
giving this side effect. Well,
got
here's
this
a pill
side
for
effect,
that side
and you
effect.
can have a pill for the side effect,
which has side effects. Yeah.
That's challenging to navigate all that craziness.
Yes.
So,
I would say to make further your point and to go back to my tooth. I've spent a lot of time in the dentist chair because I have just genetically Sherry's teeth. She's had 2 cavities in her whole life, and Stephen got those teeth wonderfully. But it's kind of the opposite for me. It doesn't matter how much flossing I do or any of that, I get cavities. So I have spent a lot of time there, and usually if I get a little I still go to the mindset of, well, maybe it'll just go away. And it might for a little while.
Yeah.
But then it comes back, and I'm like, oh man. And there's something in me that says, I know I should just call them and make an appointment, but I still am moving in the space of, well, maybe I just bit down wrong on something, when I know it's really going to be something.
Isn't that interesting, that the fine line between optimism and pessimism?
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
man.
What a mixed drink that is.
Oh, man.
Because I would rather...
part of it. It's really part of it.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
It's not as bad as I think it is. I'm sure it'll work itself out. Probably not.
How old are you? When has that worked that way?
Never.
Without it being addressed?
Yeah, never.
Or engaged, or some intentional... And I think that's a big one, Bud, that, back to some of these symptoms and how we treat them, some of the challenges that we face. It's amazing that men are built to carry pretty heavy loads, but it also is so interesting that I would rather not. That's not yay. More difficulty, more chores, more crisis, more pain, more needs around me.
And the yoke gets heavier and heavier and heavier, and then you say, "Well, I don't have time to deal with my own stuff. Look at all this other stuff I'm carrying."
Yeah.
but you not moving towards healing and working your own stuff out, that's half the reason you're exhausted trying to carry all the other stuff.
Yeah. And when we don't handle our challenges well, or even know what they are, that's a whole other thing. When we don't handle our challenges well, and we don't really know what they are, the difference between symptoms and causes, it affects a lot of people. It affects a lot of people. I was talking with a guy, and I think a lot of men feel this way recently, and his perception of himself and his family is to be the rock, to carry everybody through. And what I found is not just in his story, but a lot of men in that story, when the people that you're carrying turn on you, or you can't carry it far enough, or how, you know what I mean? It gets to be very, very isolating.
Oh yeah.
And isolation's another word for lonely.
And the betrayal leads to resentment, leads to bitterness, leads to anger.
Yeah.
You know, and so I've talked with guys like that too, and I'm like, who told you had to carry all those rocks, man? That's not your rock to carry.
Right. Well, that's how I've always been.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah, right? Then we're back into younger you, and how you made a way to be needed. So back to these, I'm just saying we're still defining things. To use the word like this, the challenges men face, the challenges. What are the challenges? And what part have you played in those challenges? What happened to you? Who did that to you? Who said that to you?
Who did you do it to?
And who did you do? Yeah, then who did you do it to? And so, yeah, I don't want, as a man and as men, I want there to be hope in this series, not just piles of crap.
Yeah.
That we're unsympathetic. Because I'm not. I want men to have hope, and I want us to be able to engage in our world, small and large, in ways that, as James talks about, consider it pure joy when you encounter challenges of various kinds, trials, knowing that there's good that God is up to in that process.
Yeah, and the good, I think, is that, like you said earlier, the invitation to intimacy.
Yeah, I regularly pray, talk with Jesus in this way, like, what is this about?
What are we doing?
What are we doing? I mean it.
I know.
What are we doing?
I'm chuckling because I do the same thing.
Are we here again?
That's a hard one.
What is this? And what is my part? As you said, are we taking on responsibilities we shouldn't? Are we somehow missing opportunities that we actually should? And that's the wise and discerning heart is just, that's when the wise and discerning heart is just so badly needed. Because if you want one tool to try to handle all the challenges, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And
there's no one size fits all solution.
And being engaged, right? And not doing something because you've chosen and felt led not to, that's different. That's not passivity. That's actually engagement.
That's discernment.
And discernment, right? So I want to spend the rest of our time this time as we just
Here's
circle and move
about
this thing, the challenges men face, and the ones that we're going to talk about as the series progresses. I think there's two things that I really want us to make sure we get really clear. One is what was a man for? What?
Yeah, I mean, the whole next episode could be that.
But let's touch on it just a little
absolutely.
bit. Maybe just from the beginning.
Yeah.
Of some of the conversation.
I would say going all the way back to Genesis, man was created to walk with God.
Yeah. And
that's
simple. So sweet, so simple, so straightforward. And then comes everything after that. And without getting deep into it.
Yeah.
But when Lucifer falls from heaven, paradise lost, when Lucifer becomes Satan, and what we understand and believe about those specific pages in the story, that in Genesis, God had made all things good. Yep. And then man and woman, very good. Mm-hmm. And Lucifer doesn't seem to want to play with his new creation, image bearers, the new puppies, the new kids. Here's these image bearers. And that doesn't seem to jive with the agenda, whether it's God, the Trinity, sets his love and affection on human beings, image bearers, Adam and Eve, and it's either motivated by jealousy, it's motivated, by anger, frustration. He mutinies. And the reason I bring all it up, SJ, is because if man was created to walk with God, the environment in which he is invited to do that is hostile to doing that very thing.
Yep.
So challenges are real out of the gate. I mean, literally, we're escorted out of the gate.
Yeah, man. I would even say
as humanity.
I would even say going back then to all the way back to that moment, and God says, "Where are you?" That's a great example of what it's a great challenge.
Yeah.
I was afraid, and so I hid. and so what could have happened was go run to the Father. This is what happened. How are we going to solve this problem? Right? Even like when it presents itself.
That's what I was going to say.
Before there's any engagement, right?
Yeah.
But when it presents, this thing is in here.
Yeah, like time out.
What the heck is that?
Time out.
And running to the Father for that. But instead, it's, I'm ashamed, I hide, and rather than going and entering into that moment of intimacy and I need you, Father, well, he tries to figure it out on his own, and that doesn't go well.
Yeah.
Right? So we're still doing that, is my point.
So why we bringing this up is what was intended.
Right.
Was for man to walk with God. Here comes the temptation. Here comes the trial. Here comes
you can be like
Satan,
God. You can know what God knows.
Trying to bring separation from the very thing we were created for. Apparently, Satan understood it better than Adam did at that time.
Yeah.
So he comes and
which may still be true.
So interesting. Yeah, as I just said that, it feels like that. So separation comes. Then we have this encounter. Where are you? And who told you that? And already in motion is something in Adam in that man's heart, we would say, to hide.
Yeah. Where did shame come from?
Passivity. I didn't know what to do, and so I didn't do anything.
And the woman's the problem.
And then he blames her. Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying it's worth bringing up to say.
And I don't hold Adam in contempt.
I only want to bring it up, SJ, to say I relate to some of that.
Oh, yeah.
In my own life's challenges and my storyline, my world, that scene has somehow repeated in scenes in my life.
Oh, yeah.
And would it have gone differently had God said, "Now look, tomorrow's a big day." I mean, like really big.
Yeah.
I need you to pay attention. Like, look at me, man. I want to
Give me your eyes. Give me your eyes.
I mean, I think that would have helped. That would have been good. But
that sounds like a Key and Peele skit or something, man.
but nonetheless, he doesn't do that.
No.
And either he's affording the honor of he knows enough. Adam knows enough that somehow, some way, this moment that is presented to him doesn't go well, and so I think his challenges in my life, that scene has had a way of repeating itself.
Yeah,
and maybe I'm trying to relate it to the same thing, like saying, like, well, maybe if we were told, now look, tomorrow is going to be important.
There's a challenge that's going to be coming your way.
And then the next night, hey, now look, tomorrow there's another one.
Yeah.
Because I think you could
have to happen about every 20 minutes.
I was going to say, you could be told that many, many, many times.
Yeah.
And all I can tell you is, it's going to be challenging. So
be on guard.
So pay attention, be ready. Don't fall to passivity. Don't take somebody out with your anger. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's not your fault.
Right.
But it's going to be in your world.
And then if things don't go well, what we've learned and been trained by our earthly fathers or others is to be ashamed and hide, mostly. Yeah. Instead of, recognizing, you've said this many times, when things happen that aren't God's will, then he deploys his way. Right? So giving God, the most loving being in the universe who loves you, the opportunity for you to say and be open-hearted and vulnerable and intimate with him and say, hey, this didn't go well.
Yeah.
Now what?
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. I don't know why this keeps coming up. I don't know why I keep feeling this way. I really don't want to feel this way anymore. I'm tired of the pain. When I shared that with you, and I believe the gift was from Jesus through you to give me a couple of other guys to talk to, counselors. I mean, that was a really loving thing to be able to go to those guys and have them handle my heart well. But I had to get to the point where I was tired of the pain.
Yeah, you needed, yeah.
Nobody could have made me go do that.
Yeah, I think in that moment, because I would love to have been that guy for you. But in that moment, I knew I wasn't.
Yeah.
And I knew that how much that hurt you was, and again, guys miss each other all the time. I mean, but there was something about where you were on your journey and how much that hurt to be able to say, I think don't take your box. I think you need to pull your truck up. to somebody who can, because you're gonna start unraveling this thing.
Yeah,
I'm hopeful that a man can, when he's ready, it can all unravel.
Well, I think we've seen it. We've watched it happen many, many times, and maybe our listeners have experienced it too, where a guy's reaction to something weighs and just feels like it's, whoa, that was
over the top.
He got so angry, or he went to tears, or this or that. And we kind of go to the space of, I said the wrong thing, or what the heck's wrong with that guy, or whatever the response is. But that's a great indicator that there's a deeper symptom,
something painful,
a deeper cause to a symptom that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, and as we're talking this out, I think that's super important. Deeper is what is that pointing to? And even I thought about when you were talking, I wonder how long he's held that in and not been allowed to cry or be hurt or picked up the phone and made the call. Man, this really hurt, to tell somebody, and then to have somebody not tell him, well, that's just guys, man.
Right.
Or,
don't be so sensitive.
You waited to the end to bring it up.
Yeah.
And everybody was ready to go. I mean, there's just how to have the right person hopefully handle that.
Well, and so again, going to the challenge of, and we're in pretty deep water now and we're trying to land the plane, I know, but I feel like I have to say the challenge of, I remember feeling like I had brought some things up a number of times and not been heard or understood or missed.
Have it honored.
And
it wasn't honored.
And left our group and said, well, I just didn't say it right, or they didn't hear me. Their hearts are good. Their hearts are good towards me. Having that internal kind of conversation, which isn't untrue. All those things are true. But then it keeps happening over and over again. So what's the common denominator?
Yeah.
It's me and where I'm at and what I haven't addressed.
Is it me?
Yeah.
And there's
like I keep biting down on that tooth.
There's a couple different answers to that reality of it.
Probably the tooth is the problem.
Issue. But is it your fault?
That's very different.
That's different. And I think that's where I go back to even if God had told him the challenges that men face, whatever training you actually got or warning you got in that moment, it just doesn't go up or downstream and carry. It's just not always going to carry and be effective in another place. You need more tools.
Yep.
You need more skills. And what really men need is character. And
integrity
and quality, and that takes time on the job training, and not all the training is going to be good, depending on who is in charge of it.
And I love your analogy of the tools too. I mean, shovels are great. There's a lot of things you can do with a shovel, but there's sometimes you need a hammer, sometimes you need a sledgehammer, sometimes you need a screwdriver.
Yeah.
I mean, you need tools. You need the ability to approach things from multiple angles.
Yeah, I think if we are being reconstructed, or if we are being redeemed, if we are being renovated, if we are being restored, then there's some pretty good ongoing demolition of this and construction, renovation, construction of that. And so, the last piece I want to just put in here is as a I think it's validating for men to say this, and it goes back to, this isn't your fault, but you are responsible. Okay? This isn't your fault that you don't know how to do that, but you're responsible for what just happened. Does that make sense?
Yeah, my Irish heritage is not my fault. That my teeth are made of potatoes. But I am responsible if I want to keep them.
Yeah.
To remedy the issues that I have with them.
And if you don't know how to talk to your wife, if you don't know how to say you're sorry to your kid, I mean, it may not be your fault. You weren't trained, you weren't taught.
Or were trained incorrectly.
Or you weren't, you saw your dad do it, so that's what you do. That's what was done to you. I mean, but you're still responsible for what you did and didn't do, what you said and didn't say, how you said what you said. So all of that, I think
that's really good.
I think there's a certain juncture in a man's life, and I want to say it's in the 30s particularly, where the weight of responsibilities becomes more than he can bear on his own. I think we see our divorce rates start piling up there. We see, we've been to the addiction centers. We've been to the recovery places. There's a few young ones, younger than,
and a few older, but
they are mostly 30s and young 40s. Maybe they're at that point you mentioned. They're at that pain threshold, and they've caused so much of it because they've experienced so much of it. Now they're causing so much of it that this is their option. I've got to do something. You talk about engagement. And it's a tough game. That's a tough place to survive and stay with for 4 to 6 months to see your systems rebooted, super good. So, I mean, here we've got all these unwords. I mean, these are part of the problem, right? Untrained, uninitiated, unfathered, and unfinished. Yeah, that's a problem when a man who's built to provide and protect, Genesis, provision, protection. When a man is, actually that's part of the intention, and you're untrained, uninitiated, unfathered, and unfinished.
Yeah.
That's not going to go well.
No.
So you have to go back to those classes with God and get the kind of training and fathering and initiation that you need on your masculine journey. I think the last couple I want us to add to this list, but I thought of another one. I think a lot of guys, I'm one of them. It's just a wonderful thing to be appreciated. And I think there's so many guys who are unappreciated. And feel that, and therefore feel less.
What am I doing this for?
Yeah, unimportant. And so, I think that's a part of what a man's struggle can be quietly as the responsibilities increase, as the financial challenges, and need to provide increase, as having somebody in their life who can say, I see what you're doing. You're doing better than you think.
Yep.
We do this exercise a lot of times at some conferences where the older us, 50s, 60 now, what would you say to that guy?
23-year-old SJ.
The 30-year-old SJ, the 30-year-old Michael. And
it's interesting what comes up and out.
The couple paragraphs that guys write. They couldn't say that when they were 30.
Right.
They don't have the miles, but what you can say 20 years later, 30 years later, man, that's what so many men need to hear. It's going to be okay. You're going to be okay. It's hard, but you can do this. I promise. I'm not me until you're you.
Yeah.
And I'm for you. You got it. I'm not going to tell you everything, but hang on. Hang in there. Help's coming. You're not going to believe some of the stuff that's coming in your story. Very, very when men are challenged and don't have hope, that's when it becomes really dangerous.
Yeah.
You don't know what to do. You don't know how to do it. Or when you do, you just get criticism. You just get...
Or you just shut down.
A lecture. You just get, there's just the spiritual reality of enough shame and guilt comes again. And you feel the regret. Mm-hmm. Why did I do that? Mm-hmm. It's a great question.
Yeah.
And worth some attention.
Yeah, man.
So
it's going to be good.
Yeah. Yeah, we got through page
6
1.
More pages. Of notes.
I knew we weren't going to get through all these
this
page, but this is why I think this is an interesting and I hope a really good exploration of the challenges men face. So I'm sure since we've been here, since that Facebook page, guys are going to get their alerts.
We'll keep adding them.
There'll be some things added, and we want to address some of what we hear.
Yeah.
And try to sort them out and separate them into symptoms and causes and maybe remedies in this place.
Yeah, so for those of you watching that want to send, your challenges, the question I asked was, we're doing this podcast series on the challenges men face. What are some challenges that you've faced? And if you've overcome them, how? How have you done that? So it's been really interesting. We'll get into some more of those in the next coming episodes.
Yeah, as this series comes out, I just want to remind you that there is a video series for men. You might have seen or heard if you've been a part of any of our other podcasts. And as the fall starts, this is a great time to grab a couple guys and say, hey, do you want to go through this with me? These two knuckleheads were talking about it on this podcast that I listened to. But the Good Man video series is designed, I'll just say this, for you to be able to push play.
Yep.
2 guys, 3 guys, 5 guys in your
do it weekly,
church,
do it over the course of a weekend.
You can Zoom it. It's even simple enough to Zoom. I mean, you can bring guys together from around the country. We've done it before. What does it look like to not go through life's challenges alone? And that series is designed to inform you and equip you and encourage you and give you hope.
Yeah, create community.
And create some friendship and brotherhood.
It's a good thing doing. So, goodmanseries.com.
Yeah. Take us up on that offer, I hope. You'll look at that and move intentionally at, I think of our friend Craig, who said, man, I really don't have many good friends. And I love what his wife said, well, are you a good friend?
Are you being a good friend? Yeah, man.
So, creating some spaces for things like that to happen. Also, you've heard this, say it again, we're crowdfunded. If you like the podcast, if you want to sponsor a show or series, reach out to us at Exploring More
at zoe.org.
At zoe.org.
Or if you want to go to zoe.org/give.
And if you want to give. So, hey, thanks for being with us on this series. Here we go. We'll see you next time on the Exploring More podcast.
We hope you have enjoyed this episode of Exploring More. The landing page for this podcast is zoe.org/podcast. That's ZOWEH.org/podcast, where you can find the show notes and various platforms to which we broadcast. You can also find us and the life of more by visiting Zoe on YouVersion Bible app, Right Now Media, our Facebook page, and Zoe on Instagram and Twitter. Remember, with God there is always more, and you were made for more.